You're very handsome, but you're also kind of in the way. I usually save How's Benny for the end. Okay, now that I've got a proper cup of tea and all of my stuff is covered in cat fur, gosh, it is time to begin. And the best place to begin is, well, at the beginning. It is January the 14th, 2023. Took a couple weeks off there for the holidays. I hope you didn't miss me too much, but I'm sure you all had family to visit and all kinds of stuff going on. It's week 10, or has been week 10 of our Florida Keys contract. And I'm coming to you from the shady parking spot here in the corner of the parking lot at the Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden. You're back. And I guess I have a co-host today, which is cool. I'll take it. You gonna read the questions for me? It has been a few weeks of cloudy and wet weather here in Florida. According to the locals, unseasonably so. They usually get a little bit of it, but it's just been coming one week after the next. Another big blast of rain and wind, and we've been seizing our opportunity to get out and exercise when we can. We've still had some nice days. As an Ohioan, I'm not going to complain about only 1 or 2 days of beautiful 80-degree beach weather. It is what it is. But we have had some quite windy periods. Not to mention that, the big storm that just came through, and you got a lot of our friends up north got some decent fallout from all of that. Luckily, we were a little south of all of that. But we've got to go out to a couple of local parks and see kite surfers out enjoying the windy conditions. I guess it pays to have complimentary hobbies, right? You snorkel and sunbathe when it's calm and still and sunny, and when it gets windy, you get out the kite surfing rig. I think that's pretty cool. We actually got to hang out with Scott from Go Small Live Large, and his partner Kyle came down over Christmas week there, so we enjoyed that with them. Although as a general policy, Sandy likes to work the holidays and the weekends. We're here to help out the hospitals, and she doesn't mind going in for the Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and the holidays, because that's when the staff at the local hospitals, when they would prefer not to come in, she's like, I'll take it, I'll do it, just hand it over, and she goes in and works hard, and it works out for us. And we don't like to be off when everything's closed and everybody's out running around in town anyway. We like, oh goodness, he's gonna be like this the whole time. Enjoy yourself. We like to go out on Tuesdays. We're Tuesday people, I guess. That's what we've been up to lately. And number 2 there is, have you found any good spots lately? And I wanted to tell you, even though I'm here at the garden, I wanted to tell you about Boca Chica Beach Park, which is where I've been disappearing to a lot of these days while Sandy's at work, or when the weather's cloudy and I want to find somewhere away from the traffic. It's been a good place out behind Naval Air Station Key West. You kind of have to go down this back road and through a little town at 25 miles an hour, and you get to it where the road dead ends behind the air station there. And it's just not nice enough to not be crowded all the time. So it's perfect. If it were any nicer, I think people would be flooding back there, and I suspect they're getting ready to do some improvements on it. So I'm glad I'm here while it is like it is. They have a nice beachy area, and a few places where you can park and just kind of point the side door of the van out at the water and enjoy it. And I'll spend the whole day there and sweep out the van or get stuff out. And I've snorkeled there a couple times. There's not a lot of rocks, but I've seen a couple people catching lobsters there, which I would be into. I might have to, when the water warms up a little bit, see if I can go find me a lobster out there. Benny got to stretch his legs there with Sandy.
Where do you want to go? On a beach walk? What did you do? What did you find? Oh, God. Oh, God, don't dig in the hole. That's terrible. You'll get your nose pinched. There's not a lot of cats who are game for a beach walk. Now this one dragged me out here. I'm still in my pajama pants. Oh, another chair for you. What a wild beast. Oh my goodness. If you get tangled up in this tree, I'm never gonna get you back. Come on. Come back. Oh God, now he's a bird. Come on. Oh God. Cats, man.
He's been feeling a little cooped up too because of the rain. Question number 3 is, what have you been eating? And I'm happy to say, very happy, that we're back on the carnivore wagon. A lot of you guys know we eat low carb or carnivore. And that actually brings up a question that we got a couple weeks ago from a viewer. He asked if we've had to restock food and how beef prices have been. And I will say that everything's just incrementally a little more expensive down here, supply and demand, I guess. You know, there's only one highway coming in, and there's only a couple grocery stores in town, and they're both Publix. There's a Winn-Dixie a couple islands up. But I've been able to get ground beef for $4.99 on sale is probably as best as I can do. $5.49, $5.99, and it's $6.99 not on sale. So I watch for the sales and I shop the sales. And speaking of which, this you know, with the holidays, Christmas and everything, prime rib goes on sale, and a lot of places will sell a prime rib roast that is a standing rib roast, and you can cut out the bones and slice it up into beautiful boneless ribeyes for $6.99 a pound instead of $13 or $16 a pound. That's the way to do it. I'll just take some of those out to the park, slice them up, grill them up, and put them in the freezer. And I've still got some from when I bought them before Christmas in there. So that's the secret to staying carnivore here on the island. Although we did enjoy some carbs while Scott was in town and had a little bit of fun. It's the holidays, right? I enjoyed a couple of iguana bait IPAs at Hog's Breath Inn. Where we caught our friend Corey that I mentioned before, playing some music, and that was a good time. What are you doing up here? Just dangling. Yeah, iguana bait IPA, that was pretty good. But you know, I'm still paying for it with some bloat. But now that we're stocked back up with burgers and steaks, we'll be feeling good here in a little while. Where have you been sleeping and dumping? Well, besides our secret island headquarters, we did actually get to snag a night at Bahia Honda State Park, which, you know, we spend a lot of daytime there anyway, especially with the weather like this, just because it's a nice place we can park and feel like we get to see the water and not have to get out of the van when it's raining. When Sandy's not working, we pretty much live there. It's a hell of a front yard. But that's been our go-to. We only got to sleep one night there because it's usually booked 11 months in advance. It's a really cool campground. We didn't get to stay in the awesome Sandspur campground side, which is beachfront sites. That would be, if you can snag a spot there, definitely worth it. Really cool location. We were on the other side in their main, the larger area where the shower house is and everything, and they're all really great sites. They're all super close to the water. You can't go wrong there, except that side has some highway noise from the big bridge, and it's enough that you notice it, but it's a heck of a location, and it's worth staying there if you can get in there. A good place to stay in the Keys. And I wanted to tell you about dumping here. The last time we went to dump there, we always end up behind somebody who's taking forever, and I'm not going to call you out if that's you, with the gloves and the bins and everything. That's just not how we roll, because we do it so often it just feels like a regular bathroom chore. It takes me 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I've timed it. So we got behind a guy that had just started in line, and Sandy's like, you know what? I bet I could go in the shower house right here and shower and still be out before he's done. And she did. She got out with her shower stuff, went in, quit trying to press the off button, went in and showered and came back out right as I was getting ready to put it in drive to pull forward as the guy pulled out in front of us. And I think that's pretty funny. She managed to take a whole shower in the time that it took the guy in front of us to dump his tanks. And that's the basics. And now, are there any new problems? Well, the big one for this past couple of weeks, since we talked last, is we've been feeling cooped up. And I suppose that's easy in 125 square feet to feel cooped up. Stop. No, you don't push the little red button. That's the not record button. He's obsessed. What's going on? No. We've been feeling a little cooped up, so we've been seizing every opportunity we can to get out and stretch our legs. And Sandy's even been getting out to swim in the rain and the chilly water. And people probably look out there like, oh, I bet she's from Ohio. But we'll be the only ones out there. I went out with her last time. We'll be the only ones out there in the water. You can't see anybody else. They all tuck off in their cars and leave. But it's actually some of the nicest and most engaging. It lights up your senses. The rain and the sound of the wind and the water, and it's a pretty interesting time if you're brave enough to get chilly. But it's also nice to have a hot shower ready in the van and a cup of tea. It's pretty cool. What have you fixed? Well, with the weather, we've been utilizing it to get some van chores done. I did a deep clean on the van while I was stuck in here with the rain, which can't be a bad thing, right? I got to open up all the cabinets and vacuum and wipe everything down, no pushing buttons, and and clean the walls. He's gonna hit the off button, so if I disappear, it's his fault. Your little toe beans are gonna stop my recording. No! It's like, what is this little red dot? Oh my goodness. And other things that we've got lined up for, we actually have appointments, all those problems I've been ignoring. We have appointments for an oil change, for the eye doctor, for a dentist, because we're getting ready to head to the mainland for the first time in almost 3 months. So we've got stuff set up here tomorrow. Sandy's off for a couple days, and we're gonna head back up to the mainland and get that taken care of. Hopefully it all goes smoothly. And what problems am I ignoring? Well, since I cleaned the inside now, it's just that much more obvious to me that the outside of the van is filthy and I haven't washed it in months. So I'm ignoring that for now because, well, it just keeps raining on me and it just keeps being dusty and salty, and one of these days I'll find a spot to sit still for a minute and get the outside all cleaned up. That way I'm presentable. Have you calmed down? And now the fun stuff. So what hobbies and activities are we pursuing? Well, it's been tough to snorkel in this weather, just because of the wind and the rain, mostly the choppy waves. You can't resist, he's got to punch it. But like I said, Sandy's been out there swimming. So other than cooking and cleaning, I've been dusting off my little travel guitar and getting out my amp and microphone and doing a little karaoke here in the van. And I'm telling you, it helps untie some of those knots. If you're a musical person, I think you understand what I'm talking about. Place to put some of the energy. And I need to make it more of a habit. Is that something that you guys would like to see on the channel? I won't, be spamming you with music videos, but I can get out the little travel guitar and show you the I think it's a pretty high value setup I've got. It's the smallest package with the most effect. I used to travel with a full-size, you almost got it that time. I used to travel with a full-size Taylor acoustic guitar. That was before we traded it out for the paddle board in the back of the van, and it got to be a pain moving it back and forth when we were putting the bed down and stuff. So I got this little traveler guitar that, well, I'll make a video and show it to you one of these days. Do I have any gear to recommend? Well, next couple questions actually. Do I have any gear to recommend? And I wanted to talk about my field guides. And you guys know I'm kind of a nature nerd, right? Well, these are the National Audubon Society field guides, and I have always carried the Eastern and Western birds field guides, but they have these for all kinds of things. And I just, since we're here in the Keys, here in Florida, doing snorkeling and stuff, I just picked up a few more. The guides to tropical marine fishes, to fishes in general, which includes freshwater stuff for all of North America, seashore creatures, and seashells. And boy, these are all really, really cool. This is my favorite series of field guides. I'm obsessed with things that match, and these are all really well laid out. They're all photographic, and you can sort by the shape of the animal, bird, fish, whatever, by the shape, by then its color, and then with the photographic plates, you just be like, oh, I think it was that one. You flip back to the page it mentions, and it shows you the range and their habitat and their what they eat, and a description, and a few notes on their behavior and everything. And they are all really, really good. And I've only got a few left to complete my collection. I even have some back home for mammals and lizards and insects and butterflies. And they have one for the night sky. They have one for weather. They have one for rocks and minerals. Those are all ones I'm going to have to get eventually, but I'm sure I'll end up leaving some of these at home. But the birds ones stay with me all the time. This is my Bible, and it's been with me for quite a while. Speaking of, have I seen any new wildlife? And other than the Portuguese man-of-war, that if you didn't see the short video I put out, they've been with the wind. They've been blowing up onto the beach, and they're on Key West. Like crazy. Tons of Portuguese man-o-war, and you don't want to get stung by one of those things. Other than that, I've got to add 3 new birds to the life list since the last time we talked. The red-breasted merganser is one of them that I should have had back in Ohio with the wetlands up there. The sandwich tern, which I consider a victory just to tell it apart from some of the other terns here in the winter. And then the great white heron. Now, it's actually a great blue heron, but they have a population down here that's purely white. And they have a stockier bill and different plumage, and it's clearly a heron and not an egret, not just another egret. All American rejects? No? Okay. The great white heron was pretty cool to see, and so that's a subspecies. And so if you're counting subspecies, he makes number 297 on my life list. So I'm almost to 300. I'm pretty stoked about that. Should I be counting subspecies? Are there other birders out there? I mean, like, that's different colorations, different populations that breed with one another, different locations. Like there's a yellow shafted and a red shafted northern flicker live in different parts of the country. I think those count as different birds on the life list, right? Okay, done being a nerd. What are you watching, listening to, or reading? Well, I've been watching, I confessed to you, the Wavy Boats thing about the YouTube downtime. Well, I've been also watching Florida Cop Cam on YouTube. They have a lot of Key West police body cam videos, and this stuff is like, I don't know if you ever watch Cops. I never got into reality TV, but like these I can't get enough of. And they have the most videos from Key West, and it's kind of funny. It's an interesting, different perspective for your travel destination to go through and watch the body cam police videos that of people getting arrested in those locations. Florida has a pretty transparent public records for arrest and that sort of thing, so it's easy to request these things, and YouTubers put them up and give you details on what people got arrested for. And some of them are pretty outlandish. Florida man, of course there's Florida man everywhere, but it's been kind of crazy to see, and you drive past something like, that's where that girl got arrested for DUI and hit that pole, or that's where they fought with that guy over there, and you start to think about the locations a little differently, and you gain a lot of respect for what the local law enforcement have to go through. I feel for some of these people. Up next, how's Benny? Benny is, well, you saw him up here. He's a lazy turd mostly, but just like us, he's been a little cooped up. Although he's gotten to get out and stretch his little legs a few times, he's still getting out for some beach walks. And well, here at Funny Benny Story, at Veterans Memorial Beach, which is one of the places we go to watch the kite surfers. Yes, kite surfers, kite boarding, kite surfing, both, I think. And we were out there while these crazy waves were coming in, and these guys are pulling on the kites and launching themselves 30, seems like 50 feet in the air. And well, I got out my guitar and I was sitting out in front on the beach, and Sandy was out on the sand talking to a couple people. There was a nice couple we met from Italy that are traveling in a van. If you speak Italian, check out their channel. It's See You in a Wild, W-I-L-D, See You in a Wild. And they've got a pretty cool Volkswagen rig they had shipped over from Europe. That's cool. And they're traveling around. We met them down here. We were chatting with them and another guy that was curious about the van. And I had been out on the paddleboard and I had a key in my board shorts. And I came in and I changed my clothes because my butt was wet. And I went back out to play guitar. Sandy's out there talking, and Benny steps on the lock button on the driver's side door and locks all the doors in the van. Ka-chunk! Eventually we come back up and find this out. We're like, crap, what are we gonna do? All the windows are locked. It's happened one time before, and I actually had one of these windows open and I stuffed her in enough to let us back in the van. And we spent maybe 5 or 10 minutes at the front of the van tapping on the window like, here, Benny, 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 come step on the button. Come step on the button. Here, kitty, kitty. And he did. He came up to the window and was like, what do you want? Do you want to love me? I didn't do anything wrong, until we got him to put his little back foot down on ka-chunk, and it unlocked the slider door. We run around and open it, and whew, you know, we're gonna call AAA or something down here in the Keys. Who knows how long that would take, if they'd even come. I don't know. But well, at least he let us back in. He's a sweetheart like that. Yeah, goodness. And that brings us down to, do you have any questions or comments? If you do, leave them down below. Like I said, we're preparing for our first trip back to the mainland in almost 3 months. We're going to see what we can get up to there. It's mostly going to be chores and that sort of thing. We're exploring the possibility of an extension of this contract, which means staying here until maybe May. If it was a full contract, that could be cool. We're just working out the details. Maybe we'd get to see a little bit more sunny weather. Not that we haven't gotten our Ohioans worth out of it already, but it would be nice to get back out in the water and outlast some of this cloudiness that's been blowing through. We'll see. We do have something really cool booked for, it's not this week, it's the next week. A big bucket list item we missed the first time we came to Miami. We are going to visit the Dry Tortugas National Park. It's one of the least accessible national parks in the system. You can only get there by boat or by seaplane. Well, we heard that the ferry is a 2.5-hour boat ride full of children and people getting seasick. So we looked into the seaplane thing, and we've got tickets to take a 10-seater seaplane out to the Dry Tortugas National Park. This is going to be awesome. If you look it up on YouTube, there's a really cool video that shows you how they take you out in the plane and the things they take you over, the flats and the shipwrecks, and I think it's going to be a really good time. So I'm hoping to make a cool video for you about that. That's the next big thing we've got going, and I'm excited to be back with y'all after the holidays. And if you stay tuned, I'm going to get out that video I promised you about the sea turtle release. I've got that in the can, and it'll be coming out soon. So thanks for watching. Come back here and hit this little red button. Staff. You're very handsome, but you're also kind of in the way. Aren't you the sweetest? Work his ass. We can't let people know what we're really like together, Benny. They're gonna talk. If I tell them you're this sweet, they'll all want one. My face is gonna be covered in your fur. Yeah. I usually save How's Benny for the end. Yeah.